During the episode of Grey's Anatomy that aired tonight, Meredith was conducting research on Alzheimer's disease. Warnings were given to her to avoid doing so. From a professional standpoint, she is employed by Catherine Fox, and she was not pleased with the path that Meredith was on. The woman instructed Meredith to halt her investigation. In spite of the fact that Meredith had stated that she would, she had Amelia assisting her in concealing the research from the public. Amelia was in need of something to concentrate on nonetheless. It was awfully lonely for her. Due to the fact that she only had her son for half of the time, she even brought up the possibility of adopting a cat. In addition to this, she has developed a hostile demeanor while driving a vehicle. Upon observing another individual waiting for a parking spot, she proceeded to steal it by cutting ahead of them. To be more specific, the new pediatric surgeon was the one she severed ties with. In addition to being a highly skilled physician, Dr. Beltran has decided to make Seattle her new place of residence. She was a wonderful discovery for the medical facility. Everyone in the group was instructed to help her feel at ease. Without Beltran having ever entered the building, Amelia was able to foil that plot. Beltran does not view her favorably. The situation became problematic when both of them were called for the same patient at the same time. The patient is a little girl who goes by the name of Malin. A hospital stay was necessary for her because of a health condition, and Malin's mother was concerned that something was wrong because she was not acting like her regular self. There is a good reason why Malin is the best person to know, and that reason is that Malin has proven to be right. It was clear that Malin's run was over. The little girl required a new one, but Beltran was opposed to the idea of giving her a traditional one because she believed that it would discourage her from participating in capoeira. Dance combat was the style that was used. A small girl absolutely adores it. Before she suddenly became too exhausted to continue, she was quite active, and Beltran did not want to take that away from her because she was so lively. On the other hand, Amelia stated that there was definitely no other option. She has considered a variety of alternative choice. Malin was not considered for the majority of them. Both Beltran and Amelia were having second thoughts about each other, and Blue was caught in the middle of it all. The intern who was assigned to pediatrics on that particular day wore blue. Because of the positive things he had heard about Beltran, he had been overcome with excitement. It didn't bother him to work with children, just the constant back and forth between fighting and not fighting was getting to him. In spite of the fact that there was an exciting rescue operation taking place outside, he found himself stranded in the thick of everything. In his metal rowing ball, someone had been crushed to death for some reason. After he had been involved in a collision with a ship, the metal mechanism that surrounded him had submerged him inside the apparatus. Nate is the name of my friend. In order to aid with the cool rescue, Jules and Simone were scheduled to be there. An individual who was in a coma was placed under the care of Lucas and Micah. It was expected of them to keep a close eye on him in order to monitor any changes in his condition. There was no desire on Lucas's part to remain. At the time of his departure, he stated that he did not want Blue to be eligible for surgery before he was. In the moments leading up to his breakup with Simone, Micah made an effort to maintain his objectivity. As a result of the fact that they were all living together, she was the first person to learn about the breakup. It was not Micah's intention to take a side, and due to his haughtiness, Lucas succeeded in forcing her into one. By the way, the aftermath of the separation was all over the hospital. It was widely believed that Simone had abandoned Lucas. In reality, Lucas was the one who kicked her out of the relationship. He believed that Simone was self-centered. Despite the fact that she always prioritized herself, she frequently rethought her choices and made a different decision regarding her. The constant waiting for her became exhausting for Lucas. It was now time for him to give up. He gave Simone the assurance that he would no longer serve as her support system. Due to the fact that he desired to be eligible for surgery as quickly as possible, he traveled throughout the hospital in an effort to finish his list for the interns that Bailey had created. The Micah did not move. To pass the time, she worked through some mathematical problems. As a result of Simone's participation in a daring rescue, Lucas was off doing something that he wasn't supposed to be doing, and it appeared like she was the one who was winning the split. During the crush, Nate had sustained injuries. The operating room needs to be hurried to him. The only reason he did something as dumb as a gigantic rowing ball was because the man who had previously been his wife's boyfriend went on to become a billionaire and an adventurous guy. Nate was nothing more than a regular pharmacist. It was important to him that his wife would not look back on their life together and feel regrets about him. As a result, he attempted to do something fascinating, but it turned out to be a foolish idea. She was successful in persuading him to undergo surgery. In the beginning, he was wanting to hold off on talking to his wife. Simone informed him that she would relay his message to her and that his wife would meet with him after the operation for his condition. Nate was the only one who began creating code before they had even sliced into him. On the other hand, Schmidt came across Nico. Former boyfriend of his, Nico was now actively involved in a serious relationship with another person, and the two of them were expecting a child together. The delivery of their surrogate was about to take place. Additionally, Nico's new partner was unaware of Schmidt's existence or the fact that Nico played a significant role in Schmidt's life. It seemed to Schmidt that he had lost that breakup. Even when they were dating, they never once brought up the subject of children. It appears that Nico began dating Jason at a time when Jason had already chosen a surrogate mother, and as a result, Nico was compelled to acknowledge the extent to which he wanted to become a father. When it came to Jason, he grew serious. The couple made the decision to start a family together. The result was that Schmidt came to the conclusion that perhaps he ought to begin dating once more. Due to the fact that Lucas returned to the patient when Micah wanted to retrieve anything, Schmidt was not paying Lucas the attention that he deserved. Micah retreated for a fraction of a minute. While Lucas was present in the room, the patient passed out. Bailey entered the room. To assist her, she had Lucas scrub in, and Bailey also reprimanded Micah for leaving during the conversation. Not a single defense was offered by Lucas. Prior to this, he was living with a friend in addition to a roommate. No longer does he do it. Despite the fact that Blue did everything correctly, he was still not allowed to observe a surgical procedure. Beltran had a challenging role. Neither being observed nor having her patients on display is something that she enjoys. Amelia was on board with Beltran's suggestion to change the surgery in order to save Malin, and she agreed with him. And despite this, the two did not approve of one another. The following day, Blue was likewise able to return to PEDS. Beltran was conscious of the fact that he needed to improve his bedside demeanor. She made a request to him to ensure that he is able to take something positive away from the experience. Sadly, Nate passed away during the operation. By that point, it was too late to save him. After the event, his wife was a complete disaster, and Simone was there to console her. Nate's final words were relayed to the woman by her, which did not go well for Winston. Winston was not yet over Maddie, and he is concerned that he may have broken up with her for good. It was for this reason that he eventually removed his wedding band. As for Lucas, Micah informed him that they were merely roommates at this point. The two of them ceased to be friends. Because Micah is no longer taking Lucas to and from the hospital, he is now responsible for finding a ride to and from the facility. Leaving the house was something he considered doing in order to make things simpler. Furthermore, it was unfortunate that Simone was finally given the opportunity to speak with him and potentially to offer her apology as well. And Meredith was successful in convincing Teddy to use hospital cash to finance her studies. They were going to keep it a secret from Catherine until they discovered something that was better than anything they could possibly overlook.